so far in the AAA approach, when it comes to this horse listener framework that I've created, we are observing. Observing with no judgment, no expectation, no preconceived ideas. Then we go into asking questions. Ask as much questions so that you, the owner, feel heard, feel understood. What is also interesting as an observer when you ask these questions is you have two sides to every story. Well, there's actually three sides. There's the owner side, the horse side, and then the truth. Have you heard that before? And it's the same with relationships, it's the same with horses. So when you ask the owner questions, horses are listening. Like horses, as much as they don't understand English, they understand body language, they understand energy, they understand how our intention is or what our intention is. It's hardwired in them to understand that level of communication because they are prey species. So usually you will find that when you start asking more questions, the owner's telling you, but then the horse is actually also telling you something. And then it's putting those two together. And the final part is the adjust. So you adjust one thing at a time. You know when you just can't take your eyes off of a horse? I was stood opposite and I was just watching him and I was like, something isn't quite right. But I didn't want to go near him because the owner wasn't there. I was there earlier than expected and I thought to myself, I'm actually just going to watch him. Just observe what he's doing. He positioned himself quite close to the edge of the stable, so his head was over and anyone walking past, he would put his ears flat back, like really not going for them, but just very much like, look at me, I'm here. If they stopped and looked at him and so was like, what's going on? He would just continue with his head over and ears flat back, but never doing anything in terms of like he would bite anyone. When the owner finally got there, I was like, before we start with this horse, let me ask what's happening with this guy because I can't take my eyes off him today. And this is where the magic happens. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today in this episode. I've been a bit quiet for a month because I've been going through a bit of a transition in my business, which I will tell you all about in my next episode. Today, though, I want to share with you why the horse listener framework exists, and it's going to be linked to the story I've just started with the gorgeous horse called Alfie. Alfie is a 28-year-old, you heard that right. He is crossed between an Irish sports horse, warm blood, but more on the Irish sports horse type. Now, for those of us that are listening that are horse passionate people, as I know you are, you know the old school horses, the horses that were a leg in each corner, the horse that was like hardy, sturdy, could move, never got injured, never lame, just a real solid type. You know the one I mean, leg in each corner type. They don't exist anymore. I wish we could almost clone Alfie, when he was like 10 years old and just make more of him because we'd have such less problems with horses. And maybe would we though, because our expectations going up and up and up. So that's another story. My point being, they just don't make them like him anymore because we are breeding so much warm blood, thoroughbred into our sports horses nowadays for this big, extravagant fallen movement. Do you like my fallen movement, yeah? And we're forgetting about if we want more limb range of motion, if we want more of this cadence, that the horses might be lighter in frame, but that also creates problems. That creates risk of injury, further complications later on in life. So it's almost like a catch-22, and it really makes me sad to think, are we breeding out horses like Alfie? He's about 16'2", really good hunter type, but my God, he can move. And at 28, yes, he's got arthritis, especially around certain hind limb joints. His owner, we're managing that. But my point is, the way this horse carries himself naturally, he doesn't get schooled. He's 28. He goes for a hack maybe twice a week and he gets turned out as much as we can, especially here in the winter. It's a little bit trickier, but he gets access to a lot of movement just getting out of the stable. And in the summertime, he wants to go showing. Now, before you roll your eyes at me, you know those horses that light up when they're in the arena? This is him. He has such a powerful presence to him, and that when he goes into the arena, the owner showed me a picture of him just this summer gone. He looked like a 10-year-old. Incredible. And his whole body looked so incredibly strong, fit, and just like he was enjoying it. Ears pricked forward, really soft eye, just a happy, happy horse. So in today's treatment, or the treatment I did with him the other day, I'm going to share with you that feeling I had in the beginning and to why I had that feeling, and then link it to the horse listener framework. If you want to know more about it, comment below and send me a message. It is a fantastic course that I put together to help you, no matter what age your horse is, no matter what discipline you're doing, no matter your own skill set. I teach you how to assess, how to understand, and more importantly, have a clear plan on what to do with your horse going forward. If you want to know more, just comment below or send me a message. So when it was time to work with Alfie, I said to the owner, don't tell me anything, just can I see him walk, trot, can we go into the arena, can I see him move? She was like, of course you can. So we apply the first thing, which is just observing what the horse is doing, how he's standing, how he's moving. He came out the stable like, oh, like check me out. Straight into the arena we go. He had a little buck, had a little fart, all like really happy to be out. Here in the UK at the moment, it's gone like really cold. So a lot of the horses and livery yards around here that don't have access to good all year turnout are in more in the winter. So his turnout hours are slightly getting reduced. He was just happy to be out. And then I noticed a couple things straight away. I've seen him before. I saw him about a year ago. And since then, I've noticed a change in the way he's moving behind. I didn't say anything yet. I just watched. Then the second principle is asking questions. This is this framework that I teach you in the Horse Listener. So the first one is just watch, assess, observe, whatever word you want to use. Just watch the horse move. Watch how they transition from one gait to the other. Watch specifically how their body changes, how their head and neck position change, how the ears change. You'll notice a horse when they are struggling, especially maybe as this horse was in like the canter and the up and downward transitions from trot to canter, you can't help but notice his change in the muscles either side of his back. Everything looked a little bit different in comparison to the walk. Now, you don't have to be an expert to know this, and this is what I teach you when it comes to the Horse Listener, showing you exactly what to look for. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen this, where people who are not horsey come and watch a horse move and they go straight away, oh, it's lame on that right hind. And you'll be like, how did you know that? You don't even know anything about horses. It's because they take away the emotion and they have that clean, blank slate approach to just say what they see. And that is exactly what I show you. So with Alfie, what I was seeing without knowing what was happening in the last year since I saw him, the mechanics, if you want to use a different word, his rhythm was irregular in the trot and the canter, which straight away highlighted to me that this is an abnormal pattern for him. From that, I then went to asking questions. So still, I'm not having any judgment. I'm not pre-anticipating what I'm going to treat. I'm just observing, going, that's interesting, making a mental note. Then I asked the owner questions. So specific questions related to why maybe this change has happened. I asked questions like, how is he doing? What's he been doing the last 6 months? Since I've last seen him, has he had a fall? Has anything changed? How did his competition season go? Is there any change in the yard itself? Any change in dynamic of new horses coming in? Is he out in the field with different horses? You can not stop asking enough questions, and that is what I do. And do you know what? I do it for 2 reasons. One, because most people I speak to, when they pay me to come in and figure out what's going on with their horse, they've already had experts come in. And so by the time, unfortunately, I'm called in, they're already overwhelmed. They're almost like, I'm not going to say given up, but they're very much like, what else can you do? I've had this expert, the saddle fitter, the vet, everyone has looked, and there's no clear solution. Like, I'm still having the same problem with my horse. So I actually ask questions so that I can allow the owner to tell me as much as they can. The owner, you, if you're listening to this with your own horse, you are the expert. You know your horse better than anyone else. Yes, you might not have the skills to fix them, to help them, that's why you hire experts. But in terms of knowing what is normal and what is abnormal, you know that better than anyone. And if I can know and find out when the subtle changes happened, or if I can find out and know, it was this day that something changed, or actually nothing has gone and that's changed, it's just suddenly very different. It is an absolute game changer when it comes to painting the whole picture and before anyone like myself can help with a clear plan. Asking questions. So, and through this horse listener framework, I will personalize this to what you are trying to solve, okay? That's the key, because the belief I have is that there's no one-size-fits-all approach, ever. There is only the approach that that horse needs at the time, and sometimes, in most cases, we have to think outside the box. And that's the beauty of it, right? It doesn't get boring because we think outside the box. So when you adjust, when I adjust, it's not necessarily I'm talking about doing a chiropractic adjustment. It's actually about adjusting one thing at a time. So it could be me asking the horse to stand up straight and then seeing how he responds, lifting up a leg, how different is he? But every time I do one adjustment, it's just a case of stepping back, observing, asking questions. So you can see how it's always a loop. And genuinely, that's the secret. If you just go and apply that to your horse, you will figure out and understand what's going on in a really quick fashion. So going back to Alfie, through asking those questions and then adjusting one thing at a time, you pick up patterns. And the pattern I picked up with him, which is what he was showing outside his stable when I was watching him, was that he was showing signs of discomfort. And he was showing signs in two areas. One of them was his left hind, in particular the hock stifle, but also because you never ever treat in isolation the link that that was having secondary to his mid-thoracic spine. So that area just where the saddle would almost end. Now, that's all connected, right? What came first? It doesn't matter. What did really matter was his response. And when we adjusted one thing at a time, and I did one part of the treatment, stepping back, observing, he melted into the treatment. That's the only way I can describe it. It's like he just melted. He was so relaxed. He was licking and chewing. His owner said, I don't know if this is this specific technique that you've been taught or if it's just you, but the horse is a different horse and he never shows with people. And I was like, it's a really lovely compliment. And I truly believe that anyone can learn this. Anyone can learn this because I've learned this and adapted this. And I know how to teach it. I know through this framework that you can do it as well. I'm not special. We all have the capability. We all have the skill set. It's just maybe we don't have it as refined as I might have. But I truly believe that you can become the expert of your horse and truly understand what's going on by applying this framework. If you haven't already, don't forget to give me a subscribe. And if you have any questions, just give a comment below.